Darren from Property Prosperity. Today I thought I'd have a chat to you about buyer's agents. I don't know if you're in Adelaide, and buyer's agents aren't particularly common. If you're some of the eastern states, it's probably a bit more common that people are using buyer's agents. And if you're in the US, then it's really common, really. So if you're in Adelaide, you're asking, what is a buyer's agent? So basically a buyer's agent is like a real estate agent that's selling your property. So obviously a real estate agent that's selling your property helps you go through the process of marketing your property and then finding buyers and negotiating on the property and all that sort of stuff. Well, a buyer's agent is essentially the same thing, but on the opposite side. So they're helping you find it and source a property, and then they're helping you negotiate with the agent and trying to get the best deal. And they also analyze the property just to make sure they've covered everything. There's going to be no surprises along the way. So you may be asking, why would I need that? I can get on realestate.com. I can find a property myself. Why would I want to pay someone money to help me find a property? So it's essentially the same thing as selling a property. You can sell a property yourself too. You can whack a sign out the front and have some open inspections and hand out a few flyers. But the thing to understand, there is, just like there's a skill to selling a property, there's skills to, how do we attract the most people? How do we market the property most effectively? How do we get the most amount of, how do we get the most offers coming in? How do we, once we get those offers, how do we negotiate to make sure we get the highest price? So in that sense, you can see whatever the agent charges you, as long as they're actually making you more money than they're charging you, then you're going to be better off. And so they're actually not costing you money to sell the property, they're making you money. Likewise, as far as a buyer's agent goes, if there's someone that's experienced at buying lots of properties, then purely just by that experience, they've got the relationships with the agents to be able to, find the properties in the first place. They also know where to look for, particularly if you've got a particular property you're looking for, they know what properties are going to suit. They can spend a lot of time with you, telling you what's possible, what's going to fit within your budget, what's most going to appeal to you, what sort of location. They might provide options that you maybe hadn't even thought about. And finally, they get out there and they start searching for properties for you, but they have access to agents that, quite often when properties are desirable and it's in a market which is, things are selling quite quickly, they don't even get the chance to go on the market. So if you've got a buyer's agent that has a relationship with all the agents around town, quite often what happens, obviously you think from the agent's perspective, they don't want to go to the effort of having to put too much effort in trying to sell their house. And so if they can call someone and they've got a database of buyers that are out there looking to buy something right now, they can just send them a quick email saying, hey, I'm looking, this is what I've got. Have you got anyone interested? That buyer's agent then can say, hey, yeah, I've actually got someone interested in that similar property. They can then connect it straight up to the agent. The agent then go back and take a contract straight back to the vendor, and they can sell it without having to spend the money on the marketing or the, having open inspections, a whole pile of stuff. So, you can imagine from the vendor's perspective, if they just don't want to go to the hassle of having open inspections and marketing the property, then they might think that's a good idea. And you can imagine then from the buyer's perspective, they've allowed them to be able to buy a property that hasn't gone on the market. And what that means, they haven't had to compete against other people. So that means, either they paid market price or they paid less than market price because essentially got a bit of a bargain because the person selling it to them didn't want to go to the market. They didn't want to spend the time and hassle of trying to sell it to the highest bidder. They just wanted to sell it to the easiest bidder, essentially, which is not necessarily the best thing as far as the owner's concerned. Like I said, if it was my owner, I'd probably tell them to take it to market. But everyone has different situations where they want to be at, so they might just be happy for a quick sale. So you can see the opportunity then is to be able to buy something below market price. What that means is straight away you've made some money. By the time you settle on the property, you're in a better situation than had bought it before, essentially. So you can see they also have skills as far as negotiating goes. So they've actually bought lots of properties before. So when they're approaching agents, they know the way to communicate to agents. They know the way to ensure you're going to get the lowest price. They know, from your perspective, you're not necessarily, if you haven't done a lot of times before, you don't necessarily know the best way to get a really good deal. But when you've bought, tens, if not hundreds of properties before, then you start to work out what you need to do to try and get that best possible price. And sometimes it's not even about getting the best possible price. It's about making sure you don't miss out on the property. So you might have a situation where the market's running hot, things are selling really, really quickly. So in that case, it's not necessarily about getting a bargain. It's about securing the property before other people do and making sure you don't miss out, because that can become really frustrating when the market is going really fast, and then you keep putting in offers and you keep missing out because other people are bidding in and they're getting contracts signed up before you can. So sometimes that is the benefit of a buyer's agent too, is they can fast track the whole process, find the agent, sign the contract, get it all signed up before anyone else can come in essentially steal it away from you. So that you can see that's a benefit. In the situation where you're looking at a development site, and this is something I do for clients as well, in that scenario, if I'm acting as a buyer's agent, I can actually go out and source a development site for a client. I can analyze the project to make sure it's going to be viable or feasible, and then I can then help them through the process of what they need to do and the extra information they need to find out to make sure there's no surprises along the way. And so essentially what that means is I'm actually sourcing an opportunity for them to make money. And so that might be we find a particular development site and there's potential to make, you know, 50 grand or 100 grand or 150 grand or 200 grand or more. Hey, thanks for the like. Yeah, so you can see straight away if I can make them 100 grand or 150 grand, then and show them, you know, find that site for them that they can do that and give them a clear step of this is what you need to be able to make that money, and this is the best way to, you know, whether it might be knock the house down and subdivide, or whether it's renovate the property, or whether it's subdivide and sell the land, or whether it's subdivide and build 2 houses or 1 house, or whether it's a 3-bedroom house or a 4-bedroom house you're going to build. So that's all the market knowledge that you really need to understand before you've bought the property. You don't want to buy a development site and then go through the process of subdividing only to find out you've actually chosen the wrong route to go down. So that's partly, you know, what your buyer's agent, if they're helping you with development sites, that's what they should be doing. They should be pointing out all the things you need to think about and analyzing the site, covering everything every possible scenario, covering everything that possibly could go wrong to make sure there's no risk associated with the development then. So you've ticked all the boxes, and you know when you're buying that site then how much money you're going to make up front. And even down the track, they can maybe even help you with the sale of the property or the subdivision of the property. They may offer other services besides that. So now you can see, you know, why a buyer's agent can actually make you money in the scenario if they're helping you with the development site. You know, if they charge you a percentage of the purchase price or whatever it happens to be, you know, if they charge you thousands of dollars, but they can make you hundreds of thousands of dollars, then the price they charge you is almost irrelevant, because it's not a cost. It's actually an investment in a potential gain. And so the important thing obviously is who you're actually going to use as your buyer's agent. Obviously, do they have the experience and the knowledge and the qualifications to be able to do that for you? So, you know, that's probably your next stage, is making sure you feel comfortable with your buyer's agent. You feel confident that they have the skills and expertise to be able to recommend a property that is going to give you the best outcome you can possibly hope for. So hopefully you understand what a buyer's agent now is, and hopefully understand why that may be useful in your situation. How, you know, they're not something that's going to cost you money. They're going to be someone that makes you money. So why it's definitely someone that's good to set a relationship up with and hold your hand through the process of sourcing and buying a development site. So if you liked what I had to say, then click on the like button. If you haven't liked what I had to say, then still click on the like button, because I really appreciate it. And if you've got something you'd like me to talk about in a future episode, then feel free to put a comment in the comment box. I can see a few people that join me. So, hey, John, thanks for joining. And Larry, thanks for joining as well. And thanks for the likes. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I look forward to catching up soon, and we'll talk again next time. Bye for now.